I saw Jurassic World recently in a theater. Normally I focus on video games, but watching this movie made me compelled to give it a review. I did not like this movie. This is my opinion. If you liked it, that's fine. It's a contentious movie. There will be some spoilers, so spoiler alert. Alright, let's get started. First, the characters. Before anyone asks, this is nowhere near as bad as a Transformers movie. There are some scenes I really liked, and some scenes that were really bad, and unfortunately the bad scenes kind of outweigh the good scenes. First off, the characters in Jurassic World are mostly flat. There are four main characters: Claire, played by Bryce Dallas Howard, Owen, played by Chris Pratt, and two kids who are Claire's nephews, Zach and Gray. Though the kids open the movie, they are pretty forgettable. At least they don't actively piss you off like some other movie kids, though the older one is kind of a jerk. The movie starts with them getting ready to go to Jurassic World. Then we get a hint that the parents are getting a divorce with an innocuous comment from the dad about them having a last breakfast together that I thought was a jab at the mom for being overprotective and warning the boys to run away from any dangers. Then there is a scene where the mom, played by Judy Greer, who I like, calls her sister Claire after she finds out that Claire is too busy working to spend time with her nephews. She starts crying, which comes out of left field. I thought it was going to be a guilt trip move to get Claire to spend time with them. Then there's a scene where the younger kid bursts into tears about how the parents are getting a divorce. I guess it was to make the audience connect with the characters, but it feels more manipulative and cheap when they do a half-done job of foreshadowing it. The kids don't have an arc. At the end of the movie, they reunite with their parents, and that's it. Does a divorce get mentioned again? No. Was there a point to mentioning it? Not really. Then they somehow know how to fix up a car. Considering the previous two movies had kids kick raptors out of windows with gymnastics and survive on dinosaur-infested islands for 8 weeks alone, this isn't the most unbelievable kids scene in the franchise by far. I like the scenes that show them going to the park in the beginning, great moments to get the audience to experience the wonderment of visiting Jurassic World. One of my favorite scenes in the movie is when the kids enter the ruins of the old Jurassic Park and a slow-tempo piano version of the Jurassic Park theme plays. Those scenes work. The scenes with the other characters, well, some people took a scene with Claire and Owen bickering out of context and called it sexist. That scene wasn't that bad, but Claire's arc kinda was. This isn't like the dehumanizing, misogynistic kind of sexism you see in a Michael Bay movie. It's more subtle. I really liked Claire at first. She was intelligent, successful, and business-minded because she had to be for the position she had. Sure, she wasn't readily able to spend time with her nephews, but that was bad timing. One of the most one-sided and manipulative cliches is a story about a caretaker not having time to spend with their kids because of a job, and the story treats being busy because of the job as the problem. What are the adults supposed to do? Quit their job? Anyway, Claire at least sends her assistant to watch over her nephew, so it isn't like she's being neglectful. The assistant isn't even bad. The kids ditch her, and what does she get? An absurdly violent and gruesome death for no reason. Ugh, I hate that scene. Then there is that cheap scene where Owen makes Claire feel like a bad person for not knowing her nephew's ages despite priorities. Then at the end, the movie implies that she will get together with Owen because according to the movie, being a career woman and organized won't bring you happiness. Only a man and children can bring you true happiness. Okay, let's get this straight. A woman can find happiness and self-actualization without a man or children. But movies and TV too often say that only letting a man take control will make a woman happy. In that scene people point to, Claire visits him at his trailer. Owen calls her uptight, and the movie sides with him, a trailer-dwelling badass. Remember that word. Also, Owen, tequila on the first date? Ew. I'm with Claire on that one. I want to pose a question. Why are we supposed to like Owen? I'm not saying that in a snobby, oh, he lives in a trailer sort of way. I'm saying that because his character isn't a complete character. He's called a badass by audiences and the characters in the movie, okay? And What other characteristics does he have outside of being a badass? He knows when to tell people not to interfere with nature while taming raptors, but these principles aren't derived from anything. He just says them because a character in the movie needed to say them. To me, saying a character's best trait is being a badass has become more of an excuse to make bad characters in the same vein saying a character's best trait is that they're funny. Badass isn't enough. They need to have some depth. Second, the story relies on characters making stupid decisions. I guess that goes without saying. A lot of movies have those plot holes. If the movie has won you over, you let them slide, but this movie didn't win me over. Probably the dumbest decision was the one that led to the Indominus Rex escaping her enclosure. When Claire and Owen go to observe the Indominus Rex, they are unable to see her on the screens or with the heat sensors. After they see some scratch marks on the wall, they immediately assume she escaped. Of course she didn't. It is revealed in a moment that she has a tracking device. Why didn't they check that first before walking into her enclosure without any defenses? Even if she had escaped, at that point, wouldn't Claire have called to check the tracker on her as soon as possible instead of driving away for a few minutes before calling? So the Indominus Rex outsmarts our dim-witted humans and escapes. Third, the Indominus Rex doesn't even make any sense. I hate this creature more than Desmond Miles. Remember how in the first Jurassic Park, the dinosaurs were treated as animals that were just doing what they could to survive? That might be hard since the sequels made dinosaurs into vengeful and bloodthirsty monsters. There is a terrible scene in the terrible Jurassic Park 3 where the humans come across a T-Rex eating a large dinosaur. The T-Rex sees them, and instead of thinking too much effort, too low reward, the T-Rex drops its big meal to chase after the humans, which end up getting it killed by a Spinosaurus. Jurassic World takes this to its logical conclusion by creating a hybrid monster that is unambiguously evil, kills for pleasure, and is able to do things she should not know how to do. Each time the I-Rex was cornered, it demonstrated some new ability to thwart the humans. That wouldn't be too bad if it wasn't for the way she did this. So after the humans remembered that there is a tracker implanted in her, they send a squad of soldiers after her. When they reach her tracker location, they find that the I-Rex had clawed it out of her body and used it as a trap for the humans. The only explanation given to why she did that was that she remembered when it was implanted. But how did she know what that was, or that it was what was leading the humans to her? Then we find out she has camouflage abilities and can hide her heat signature. She just somehow knows how to use these abilities, set traps, break into the aviary to send Pteranodons to bring down a helicopter, and communicate with raptors. She is pretty much just missing the abilities to secrete poison and breathe fire. She ate the only other I-Rex and lived in total isolation. Owen says that living in isolation like that would make her crazy, which ends up not being true, but that doesn't explain how she was able to learn all those tricks. And why does she have these abilities, and why didn't the park director or Claire know what was put into the I-Rex, their huge investment to get more revenue? Considering all the money that was poured into making the I-Rex, you'd think the people managing the park would know what was going into their new attraction. Was every scientist in the lab bribed? Also, how much of a money pit is Jurassic World that they need the creation of hybrid monstrosities to draw crowds? I don't hear about zoos having this problem. Claire says that kids look at a Stegosaurus as they would an elephant at a zoo. There's this meta joke with the I-Rex being a metaphor for movies needing to constantly ratchet up everything to attract audiences. However, how would the Indominus Rex exhibit be any different from the Tyrannosaurus Rex exhibit? Maybe this is a meta joke to movie sequels getting bigger and bigger to diminishing returns? I might be overthinking this. Also, it looks like the park is doing just fine. There are over 20,000 people at the park during the movie, and everyone is having a good time, even the hard-to-please teens. And then there's Hoskins. I hate this character more than Sean Hastings. Every scene he appears in stopped the movie dead for me. His character only exists to give the movie a human villain. He bribed the scientists to make the Indominus Rex for military use, and wanted to breed and militarize velociraptors. Let's forget for a moment that militarizing aggressive and carnivorous dinosaurs is a terrible idea in every conceivable way. This character is an idiot. He uses the serendipitous escape of the I-Rex to test the velociraptors, which fails utterly, and because the movie needed him to die, he shows up in the lab for no real reason when the protagonists arrive in the lab for no real reason, and promptly gets killed by a raptor after revealing his flimsy motive. This character's existence makes the movie worse and dumbs down an already simple plot. In the first Jurassic Park, hubris leads to disaster. The only antagonist should have been the Indominus Rex. Even though I thrashed her earlier, her creation and escape could have worked more into the movie's theme of the dangers of spectacle creep, the public's insatiable thirst for a thrill, and corporate greed creating a rampaging monster. Sounds about right. By having Hoskins, you throw that in the dumpster. Final thoughts. I wanted to like this movie. The first 15 minutes had me hooked. My poker chips were all in. But after a while, I had to fold. Combining all the plot holes, mixed messages, unfortunate implications, and just plain dumbness, Jurassic World is a smoldering disappointment.